Man, what a weird schedule for a game. 12:30 PST, Vancouver versus Edmonton. Yeah, this video is being recorded the night of Friday, May 14th. That game hasn't even happened yet. I'm actually going to be at an eye exam when this video goes up, and I'm going to schedule it to go up after the Canucks-Oilers game. I'm going to be honest here, though. Watching Vancouver Canucks hockey the past few weeks has been really tough. It's been demotivating, and, it's tough finding things to talk about that I legitimately think bring entertainment value to a YouTube channel like this. Now, of course, I'm recording this the night before. If the Vancouver Canucks go out there, they smoke Connor McDavid 10-0, and Besser gets a double hat trick and all that. Cool. There's a cool moment in a game that is, a lot different than the other games that we have seen, but in general, this video is going over a few Canucks updates over the past few days, not talking about any of the game stuff, but about management, about players, about playing time, and some of the weird issues that we have had at our fingertips here. So, before we get underway though, thank you to those in the previous Vancouver Canucks video who commented expansion bros, because that was our key word. If you want a chance to be featured in the next Vancouver Canucks video, then stick around to the end of this one. So, we're going over Jim Benning, potential return, rumors, and all that, because I have a whole bunch of tweets that I wanted to read out over here. Firstly, Farhan Lalji, he tweets out Matt Sakaris and Price's show. And yeah, I get it, it's from Sakaris, but right here, we have sources telling Matt Sakaris that they believe Benning will not be back, as he's no longer sellable to a large portion of this fan base. We also had another tweet out here from Sakaris himself saying that he's hearing a name from the Canucks past may well be in line for a position in the front office. The name that was thrown around was actually Jeff Courtnall, a former Vancouver Canuck. He was there with the 94 Cup run. Interesting stuff right there. There are some people who are on board, others who are not really on so, but either way, we have another quote talking about the Benning thing from this show. It's possible that Luigi feels that Francesco is so tied to Benning that he simply cannot be in charge of this restructure, and that it will fall to Roberto. And that's Roberto Aquilini. This is the Aquilini family we're talking about here. Francesco Aquilini, Luigi, Roberto. If there is insecurity between those who actually own the Canucks, that Francesco is not really doing that good of a job, who knows how exactly a reevaluation would go and how the team might actually change. Obviously, I'm no insider, I'm just a guy reading tweets, but it is interesting to note at the very least. Furthermore, we had some other speculation, not just Jeff Courtnall, but a few other guys as well. Rick Dhaliwal said that he heard Mike Gillis's name a couple of days ago. And, oh man, Mike Gillis, eh? Darn, he's really entering these conversations too. Apparently Jim Rutherford is not on the table, but these different names popping up around there. Oh boy, a lot of stuff right here. This is also what Rick Dhaliwal said. He said that one agent told him the other night that you can lump the Canucks with the Senators and the Sabres as the worst run NHL teams. And that is, pretty telling, Pretty telling as to how Jim Benning and Francesco have been running this team. Here's a tweet. Sachir Shah says that he thinks that we will know pretty soon after the Canucks season is done what's going to happen with this team, whether or not there are some changes up front. And there are some other opinions out there as to whether or not Benning has survived so much that something like this year isn't even really that good enough to get him fired or whatever, because, there are so many excuses. It's the shortened season, it's the pandemic, it's the illness, it's the fact that they got infected, it's all the injuries, it's this, it's that, it's whatever. At the end of the day, Jim Benning has been here for 7 years. They've only made the playoffs once. You can say, but rebuilding teams, they need this, they need that, and all that, they need time, but there are other rebuilding teams that have rebuilt and gotten so much better in a shorter amount of time within the entire time frame that Jim Benning has been here. For example, Joe Sakic in Colorado took that franchise from the bottom of the league in 2017 to where they are now. Now, Nathan McKinnon helps, Cale Makar helps, yes, but Sakic is still doing his thing. He's getting picks, he's trading guys, he's doing that. Steve Yzerman is being praised by everybody in Detroit, not just because he was a great player, but also because of how he has been rebuilding the Red Wings. They understand that this takes time, and they're not afraid to be one of the worst teams in the league while they reform in that process. The fact that Jim Benning and Francesco Aquilini, I'm going to call him out too, I'm going to put him in that conversation as well, have been in a position where this team has been so dedicated to staying competitive because they want those playoff tickets, they want those extra sales. Because they've been so dedicated to that, and because they've never had the audacity to say, okay, screw it, full-on rebuild, we're doing this now, trade everybody who is over the age of 26, and we're gonna go on our way with that. Because they've been so handcuffed by their own detriments, trying to get this competitive team that's got a bottom six that's competitive with Stanley Cup experience and, quite frankly, extraordinarily expensive too, take a look at where this team is right now. It's apathy amongst the fans. And apathy as in, wow, I really cannot watch this game with a smile on my face anymore. But aside from that, let's go over to a few other things, because with all the rumors of Benning and Aquilini, changes, whatever, lies some other things that I wanted to highlight as well. So first off, Michael DiPietro, yeah, that guy. The Canucks drafted him in 2017. He's played a few games and he's stunk in all of them because the Canucks kind of hung him out to dry. Michael DiPietro is going over to the World Championships, and that's good. Firstly, because he's going to get experience. Secondly, because, man, Michael DiPietro has been in such a weird place the entire year that just giving this guy a taste of normalcy will be pretty good, I would say. DiPietro, as you all know, 2017 drafted prospect, 21 years old, a goalie who spent the entire year on the Canucks taxi squad, not playing anything, just being there practicing and not playing a legitimate hockey game in like a year. It's been that bad for Michael DiPietro. And what happens when he gets sent finally back over to the Utica Comets? Well, he plays 4 games, he's got a .252 goals against, a .916 save percentage, and he's won 3 of those 4. Hey, pretty good for a guy that literally had to wait an entire year between playing hockey games. But with the Utica Comets this year, there's a little bit of a twist, because the Comets aren't just the Canucks farm team for this year. It's actually the farm team of the St. Louis Blues as well, because the St. Louis Blues normal NHL AHL affiliate, which would be the Springfield Thunderbirds, they actually opted not to play this year in the AHL because of concerns with the pandemic, which is understandable. So they've been sharing the Utica Comets. You can see the Comets games, like half of the guys you recognize from the Canucks system, and the other half you're like, oh, who's that? But here's a tweet talking about the controversy, the goalie controversy in Utica with Michael DiPietro. This is what Rick Dhaliwal says, that word is leaking out that Michael DiPietro didn't play 8 out of 10 games in Utica because the Blues wanted their goalie to play. There was a tug of war between the two teams and the Blues won. That's why DiPietro didn't play 8 out of 10 games. And the question that everybody has is, why the heck are the Blues pushing the Canucks around about the farm team that is primarily the Canucks farm team? This Michael DiPietro guy hasn't played in a year. You're going to tell me that he gets over to Utica, the development stage in the AHL, and they're going to be like, oh, sorry, man, no, you can't play. We've got our guy here that's going to play, not you. Really? Is that really how the Vancouver Canucks run their team, that they can't even negotiate with a new entity sharing their space and enforce the rules like, yeah, no, this is our primary farm team, that's our primary farm team's goalie, give him the playing time. 8 out of 10 games, come on, you've been here the whole year. DiPietro's been up with the taxi squad, he hasn't played a game in a full calendar year, 12 months out there, and you're gonna say, oh, you're not gonna be able to play even more now. Really? Furthermore, with Vancouver Canucks guys, we had William Lockwood and Jonah Gadjovich actually caught up to the Vancouver Canucks in their taxi squad, but Travis Green says he's unable to dress them because the Canucks are out of player recalls. These guys who are sticking around with the team are only actually able to play if anybody else gets hurt. And you know, a lot of people were really angry about this until Ian McIntyre kind of explained it onto TV that, yeah, the Canucks have so many injuries, and as a result, they kind of needed to call up some extra guys here. It's just with Lockwood being the guy that he is, a prospect from 2016 that was up and down. He was at the World Juniors, he was taken out, he has been on a weird development path, and with Jonah Gadjovich also being the crazy AHL beast that he has been this season. It is kind of unfortunate seeing these guys actually get called up to the taxi squad and not have the opportunity to even have themselves a chance to slot in unless there's a Canuck injury. And you never want to see Vancouver Canuck injuries go down, but that's kind of how it is right now. We have these guys who have been prospects in the system for a while, just chilling up here with the main squad, but they're not allowed to being played. So, yeah. Good for the Canucks, I guess. If you made it to the end of this video, comment down in the comments, Michigan Wolverines, because, I mean, Lockwood was a Michigan Wolverine, and so was Quinn Hughes for the matter. Talk to me in the comments what you think about Jeff Courtnall, Jim Benning, Francesco, the entire swapperoo conversation we're having here, the entire Michael DiPietro thing, and plus Gadjovich and Lockwood too. There's a lot of Canucks stuff, and that's not even talking about the game that would have been completed by the time this video has been uploaded. So talk to me about whatever it is, Vancouver, I guess. I hope you enjoyed this video. So that's Rumours 99, and bye.